The airport buzzed with strangers, but Hero only saw him, his human, kneeling down one last time. A pat on the head. A tight voice saying stay. Then the unthinkable, his human walked away. Hero waited. The sliding doors swallowed his owner whole. The scent faded. The leash lay abandoned. And for the first time in his life, Hero didn't understand. Hours passed. Then days. Hero circled the same spot, nose pressed to the ground, searching for that one smell. Suitcases rolled by. Shoes stepped over him. The world moved on, but not Hero. He whined, low and confused. The airport lights flickered. His tail stayed down. And with every passing minute, the last trace of his human disappeared. Rain. Sunday snow. It didn't matter. Hero didn't leave. Security guards nudged him aside. Travelers tossed scraps. Some whispered poor thing. But no one stopped. No one knelt and said, come home. So Hero stayed. Because if he moved, what if his human came back and couldn't find him? Hero's ears perked at every tall man in a coat. His tail wagged, then dropped. Wrong scent. Wrong voice. Wrong eyes. Nights were the worst. The airport emptied. The floors echoed. Hero curled up on the cold tile, nose tucked under his paw, dreaming of a hand ruffling his fur. The terminal fell silent. Hero lifted his head. And then it spilled out. A long, aching howl. The sound of a creature realizing, for the first time, that it might be alone. Somewhere, a janitor paused. A traveler in a distant hallway shivered. But no one came. The howl faded into the hum of the airport. Unanswered. 12-year-old Jake noticed the dog on his third day visiting his dad at work. Thin. Dirty. Always watching the doors. Jake crouched, holding out a trembling hand. Hero didn't growl. Didn't move. Just stared. And in that moment, Jake saw it, the same loneliness he felt since Mom left. Jake's lunch was turkey on rye. Hero's ribs showed. A trade was made. The boy placed the sandwich on the floor and stepped back. Hero crept forward. One sniff. One gulp. The first meal he'd eaten in days. Jake's breath caught. You're hungry too, huh? The dog needed a name. Jake thought of the way he still waited, like a knight guarding a castle. Hero, he whispered. The dog's ears twitched. Yeah, that's you. For the first time in weeks, Hero's tail gave a slow, uncertain wag. 5 days of sandwiches. 10 days of quiet talks. Then Jake's fingers brushing Hero's matted fur. The dog flinched but didn't run. Jake's throat tightened. It's okay, he lied. Because nothing was okay. Not for Hero. Not for him. But for this 1 second, they weren't alone. The moment came without warning. Jake's palm rested on Hero's head. And Hero leaned into it. Just a little. Just enough. Jake's vision blurred. Good boy, he choked out. Around them, the airport kept moving. But right there, on the cold floor, something broken started to mend. The broom came without warning. A sharp jab to Hero's ribs. Scram, the janitor snarled. Hero yelped, scrambling backward. Jake saw it happen from across the terminal. His fists clenched. That dog had waited longer than most humans would. And this was his thanks? Officer Ruiz pretended not to notice the dog. Until one freezing night, she found Hero shivering by gate B12. A silent moment passed. Then, a smuggled blanket appeared. No paperwork. No speeches. Just one hardened woman breaking the rules for a creature with more loyalty than most people. Jake overheard the words that turned his blood to ice, animal control. 7 a.m. His breath caught. Hero looked up, sensing the panic. Those brown eyes held questions Jake couldn't answer. Not yet. But he'd make a promise, the kind kids shouldn't have to make. The zipper strained against Hero's weight. Jake's shoulders ached. This would never work. But when the dog licked his trembling fingers through the fabric, Jake knew. He'd carry this weight forever if he had to. Sirens wailed. Hero's paws skidded on polished floors. Jake screamed his name. The nets swung. In that moment, the airport became a battlefield between those who saw a nuisance and those who saw a soul worth saving. One blurry smartphone picture changed everything. #SaveHero exploded online. Strivers cried over their coffee. Office workers shared the post with shaking fingers. And somewhere across the country, a man dropped his phone, his face draining of color. The journalist's hands trembled as she turned the worn metal tag. The engraving was faded but legible. If lost, return to David Mercer. The date? 5 years ago. The network went live in 60 seconds. America would know the truth. The press release was slick corporate speak. Safety concerns. Regulations. Jake read it with burning eyes. Behind him, Hero slept peacefully, one paw over his nose. The most dangerous thing about him was how much he made people feel. The studio lights burned. Jake's voice cracked. He just waits. America held its breath. In living rooms across the nation, hands reached for tissues. And in a darkened apartment, a man watched his son beg for the dog he'd left behind. Politicians tweeted. Celebrities donated. Airports received bomb threats not from terrorists, but from grandmothers. All over one scruffy dog and the boy who loved him. The world had drawn its line in the sand. Some bonds are sacred. The voice on the line was gentle. Mr. Mercer? It's about Hero. David's knees buckled. 5 years. 5 damn years. The suitcase was packed before the call ended. Some debts can't be left unpaid. The whiskey burned David's throat as he stared at the old photo. Hero, young and bright-eyed. The deportation notice. The impossible choice. Now the truth would out. He hadn't just abandoned his dog. He'd left his son, too. The disguise was flimsy. The risk? Unthinkable. But when David saw Hero through the terminal glass, older, wearier, but still waiting, every calculated thought vanished. He'd face 1,000 consequences for this moment. A shift in the air. A familiar cadence of footsteps. Hero's head snapped up. His entire body trembled. Somewhere behind him, Jake called his name. But in that second, there was only one voice that mattered, and it was saying his name for the first time in half a decade. The sound tore through the terminal like a gunshot. Travelers froze. Hero launched himself forward, a golden streak of pure joy. David caught him mid-leap, the impact knocking them both to the ground. And for the first time in years, both of them were home. David's tears soaked into Hero's fur. "I'm so sorry," he choked out. Jake watched from 3 feet away, his heart breaking in ways he didn't understand. The dog licked both their faces, trying desperately to mend what humans had broken. The words hung in the air between the two men. Officer Ruiz held the leash. The cameras waited. David looked at Jake, really looked, for the first time. The resemblance was unmistakable. Some secrets can't stay buried at Gate B12. The courtroom buzzed. The judge sighed. Hero panted happily in the witness box, unaware he was the subject of international custody debates. Jake clutched David's hand. Neither let go. The bailiff passed tissues to the jury. The test was simple. Both men called his name. Hero hesitated. Then a mad dash straight down the middle, crashing into them both. The message was clear. Love isn't pie. There's enough to go around. The judge wiped her eyes and made it official. David's plane ticket was one way this time. But the envelope he pressed into Jake's hands held more than words. It held a father's hope. Hero nosed it open later, inside. A faded photo of all 3 of them. Family. Maybe not whole, but trying. The house smelled strange. No jet fuel. No echoing announcements. Hero padded through each doorway, sniffing. Jake's bedroom. David's old study. The backyard where fireflies danced. When he finally settled, it was between their 2 beds, guarding them both. Jake woke to warmth. Hero's weight against his legs. Steady breathing. No twitching. No whimpering. Just peace. Outside, the moon shone on an empty dog bed in an airport terminal. Somewhere, a janitor sighed and stopped looking for his nemesis. Old instincts die hard. When suitcases appeared for school trips, Hero stationed himself. Guarding. Waiting. But now, fingers scratched his ears. "We're coming back," Jake promised. And when the door opened hours later, Hero's wagging tail said he'd believed them. The park smelled of 100 dogs. But one made Hero freeze. His head snapped up. Across the field, a familiar silhouette. The collar jingled as he strained forward. Jake's grip on the leash tightened. "Not today, boy." The stranger passed by. Hero's tail drooped. Then Jake knelt. "But soon," whispered into fur as the sun set. "When he's gone again, I'll be here." Hero licked Jake's cheek, tasting salt. They sat watching planes blink across the sky, one remembering, one promising, both healing. The stares took longer now. The naps grew longer too. But when David's car pulled in every Friday, Hero found his youth again, barreling down the driveway in a flurry of joy. Some waits are temporary. Some loves are forever. The bronze plaque read, "For all the loyal hearts who wait." Jake ran his fingers over the inscription. Hero sniffed his own likeness curiously. Around them, travelers paused. Some took pictures. Others simply knelt to pet the real thing. The paper smelled like ink and memories. Hero whined softly. Jake buried his face in the dog's neck. David's last words played in his head, "Tell Hero. I kept my promise this time." Outside, a plane roared skyward. The leash hung slack. Hero moved slowly, stopping to rest often. But when they reached gate B12, his tail wagged once. Jake's tears fell on the old tile as Hero lay down in his spot one final time, not waiting anymore. Just remembering. The vet's office was quiet. Hero's head rested in Jake's lap, his breathing slow. "You can go now," Jake whispered. "He's waiting for you." Somewhere beyond pain, beyond grief, there's a moment when a good dog takes his first step toward home, and this time, no one calls him back.